Podcasts, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the podcast.
There are 4 lights!
Its 5-year mission to explore strange, familiar worlds, to seek out new listeners and new civilizations, to boldly go where most nerds have gone before. Join Matt and Shirley on their 5-year mission with a different guest each week as they talk about an episode of Star Trek, from the original series through Enterprise. They'll cover every episode, eventually.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to There Are 4 Lights! This will be a seasonal podcast from the Nerds Domain. I'm Matt, and I'm here with
Shirley,
and we're going to be your 2 hosts. We'll be your regular hosts, but we'll have a bunch of guest stars as well.
Yes.
Kind of like Star Trek does.
Yes.
And if you haven't picked up on it yet, this is a podcast all about
Star Trek.
Star Trek!
Woo!
Unlike a lot of the other Star Trek podcasts out there, which there are quite a few and a bunch of good ones, this one, we're going to go episode by episode and watch each episode and then talk about it.
Yes, we are.
Starting with The Cage, which is the original series pilot. We'll talk about the differences between the pilot and what actually happened, and then we'll end up watching The Cage.
What do you mean, what actually happened? Like in real life?
There's no Kirk in The Cage.
There's no Kirk in the cage.
And Spock is very emotional.
What is wrong with Spock?
It's the pilot, so... Anyway, so we'll end up watching The Cage twice because the menagerie is actually The Cage recut and more stuff added in.
Okay.
That's where we meet Captain Pike. But for our first episode, we have Daryl Skills, the Trek nerd, from This Week in Trek. He'll be joining us.
I'm so excited about that.
He'll be joining us as our special guest. And then we'll have people from our network, so people like Scott and Phil and John and Justin. We'll have Bruce Leslie from the Heroes and Villains podcast. We'll probably also...
No, wait. Yeah, Brad.
Well, yeah, we'll be having Brad, the producer of the Hammer and Nigel show. I had to think of the name. We'll also have Dan and maybe Tom from When Nerds Collide. The point here is to have Shirley and I and a bunch of guest stars. But one of our reoccurring guest stars, and our very special reoccurring guest star, is Joe from The Geeky Faucet.
Yay, Joe!
Yep, we're looking forward to seeing Joe too and talking to him about Star Trek. So... we'll do this season by season, so we've recorded all 30 seasons by the time this goes up. Or all 30 episodes.
I was going to say 30 seasons! I didn't even know Star Trek had that many seasons.
And I know you're sitting there at home thinking, why didn't we turn off our ringers? No, you're sitting at home thinking, how many episodes are we going to get out of this, Shirley? Well, if we just do the regular seasons of every Star Trek that's out right now as of 2015.
The first seasons, not the regular seasons.
No. We're going to do every season of every show.
I know, every first season
of
every show.
No, every season of every show.
But we're starting with the first season
yes, we are.
of every show.
Hold on. But if we go through every season of every show and watch every episode of every season, how many episodes are we going to get?
48,365,000,000,000.
671 episodes.
671
plus this episode, that makes it 672 podcast episodes coming your way, season by season. So we're going to start with the original series, Season 1, then we'll hit The Next Generation Season 1, Deep Space Nine Season 1, Voyager Season 1, and my personal series favorite of all time,
The Enterprise.
Enterprise Season 1.
Oh, Enterprise, sorry, not The Enterprise.
So let's talk a little bit, we've talked about what we're doing. What kind of background do you have in Star Trek? Have you ever watched any of these newfangled shows?
Well, there's the one time that I did serve on the Enterprise. No, that's a joke.
Okay.
I
was like, what? When? Wow, I missed this. Our relationship is going super strong, and I don't even know this.
No. I grew up with the original series. I don't know if I grew up with the first running of the original series.
It was on TV before you were born, so no. You
okay.
You grew up with the reruns.
Yes,
that your dad probably watched when it originally went on. I grew up with The Next Generation, although I really think I hit my stride in watching with
Deep Space
Nine and Voyager, because they were concurrent on the air at the same time.
When Next Generation came out, it was huge. It was like a huge deal.
Oh yeah,
in our household. It was like, oh my god, it's back on.
So, we're both big Star Trek fans.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we're the biggest Star Trek fans.
No.
Although Shirley does dream at night about pointy ears. And she thinks Zachary Quinto is the hottest.
No, you know that story, though, right? Right?
Right.
Like, a friend of a friend knows Zach.
Yeah, because we can call him Zach because we're totally cool and in with him. But we're going to have a bunch of people on. We're going to talk about Star Trek. We're going to enjoy ourselves, and we hope that you listen and enjoy yourselves as well.
Yes, we want you to give us some comments when we post it up and let us know what you think. Tell us where we are wrong. So wrong.
And we will be going through every episode of Season 1 for our first season. And then Season 1 of The Next Generation we'll be going through every episode of Season 1 of the original series as our first season. All 30 or so episodes. I want to say it's actually 29. Because the Menagerie counts as one episode, but it's 2 parts.
Right.
And then we'll have a break for between 2 and 8 weeks. Depends on, it's an undetermined amount of...
what we should do for that break? First one?
It's an indeterminate amount of time, but go ahead.
We should watch the original Star Trek movie.
Well, and see, I was thinking we would wait a little later, but maybe that's a good idea. We do have a lot of options for what we can do on our off seasons. We've got 11 movies.
How many seasons are there?
10 movies. 12 movies. There are 3 seasons of the original series, 7 seasons of Next Generation, Voyager, and Deep Space Nine, and 4 seasons of Enterprise.
So does that make 12? That's more than 12.
Yeah.
7 and 4.
7 and 4 is 11.
Okay.
Plus another 14.
Okay.
Is 25.
So what we can do is we can watch a movie, Star Trek movie, in between each.
We are skipping the animated Star Trek series because it's really terrible. It really is bad. We will be watching all this through Netflix, so hopefully they leave this up. If they don't leave it up, we'll just have to go scrounge around and find what we can find.
Disc Replay, I hear it's
Disc Replay is a good place.
Enchanted, no, not Enchanted. It's
the Exchange.
Oh yeah, the Exchange.
So, join us as we go through season by season. You'll get an episode out every Wednesday. I'm going to just call Wednesdays. That's the day we're releasing now.
Wednesdays, the Star Trek.
Wednesdays, they'll go out at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Nice.
You'll have that in your podcast feed. And remember, this is There Are 4 Lights!
Every time he says that, I have to cover my ears.
And we look forward to having you guys as listeners. You can email us at thereare4lights@gmail.com.
Nice. I did not even know you made an email address for it.
I should probably do that to make sure that it's not been stolen. But you can email us there, or at nerdsdomain@gmail.com, or at podcasts@nerdsdom.com.
Yeah, or
that one actually
leave a message, or leave a comment on our website page where this is posted.
Absolutely. This will also be on Libsyn, so you can comment there as well.
Nice.
You can go to patreon.com/nerdsdomain, and you can either contribute there or comment there. We love to hear from our listeners. And if you have any suggestions for people we should try and get on the show, like Will Wheaton, we would be happy to have Will Wheaton on, or any other Star Trek member. Although we did have Max Grodinchik on once.
We did.
And part of me wishes hopes he comes back to Starbase Indy before his favorite episode from Deep Space Nine.
Oh, that's right.
So he could watch it with us, and then we could talk about it. That would be
amazing.
Awesome. So
Max, if you're listening,
look for these. We're going to be shooting for between half an hour and 45 minutes with each one of these episodes. I'm positive we will go long sometimes. I'm also positive we may go short. Yeah. We may not have 30 minutes of stuff to talk about. So, either way, you are listening to There Are 4 Lights. Thank you. And we're looking forward to this. Aren't you, Shirley?
I'm definitely looking forward to this. I'm very excited about this series.
All right. And we will talk to you guys
real soon.
And that'll do us tonight for
There Are 4 Lights.
Remember, you can email us at thereare4lightspodcast@gmail.com, or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdsdomain, on Twitter at nerdsdomain, or over at our site nerdsdom.com. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter while you're there. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. A big thanks to 5 Year Mission for their music. You can find them at 5yearmission.net. Don't forget you can support us at patreon.com/nerdsdomain. And check out our shirts at /loot.